Marc, congratulations.
Thank you.
A third successive FA Cup final. It's a really impressive achievement, isn't it?
It is. For the team, it really is. For me personally, of course, but we talk about the team. So to do it, to get back to a final is no mean feat. And so I'm really pleased, especially the performance that I thought were incredible. Look, I know it'll always be caveated with City have injuries and stuff, but you've got to play the team that's ahead of you. And credit to the players, because I thought we dominated. It should have been more today. And that's the difference. You know, if Phallon makes the double save, I get that. That should be one, which he cuts out. But there are moments where we should be punishing them even more.
Yeah, and the two players on the score sheet, it's quite nice that they were obviously two players that were at Spurs last season. Yeah. Obviously, Grace didn't get to play in that final. Just, you know, in that moment, is there kind of a nice, beautiful irony, I suppose, to those two scoring?
Only if we win it. Only if we win it. But no, it was a point, and I thought that, you know, I took Grace off because she was on a yellow, and I couldn't risk her potentially not being part of the final squad again, because she doesn't deserve that. So it was a hard choice because I thought she was excellent. But I think it's also, there is that romantic part of it that you have to bear in mind, especially if you feel you're in control of the game. And look, they've been incredible for us this season, and now they get their opportunity to put their stake for a final.
How did they react at full time?
Oh, they loved it. Oh, I've not really seen Grace and Celin separately because we were too busy walking over to the army of fans that were here. So, yeah, I'm sure they'll be buzzing. I saw Grace, gave her a hug, and she understood totally the situation. But the rest were. It's more. Maya jumped on me, which is the first time she's like shown me that kind of emotion. So it means a lot to them, and it's clear that it should mean a lot to them.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate it. Thank you. Don't be shy. Go on, straight ahead. Go with it. Amy, you going?
Oh, mate,
you stopped on past the parcel and you just held on to the parcel.
I thought Tara was going. Sorry, I thought Ella Toone was amazing today. She's been so good since she came back from injury. I just wondered, what you've made about her since she's come back into the team. And nobody wants to get injured, but it almost looks like she's refreshed from being out. It's
totally that. She's refreshed. She's hungry. She had a little go at me because she'd had a crampies at that point. The pitch was quite firm, so she'd had a crampies, and then we took her off because we only had a limited block to make subs, and we thought she might not last. So yeah, she's. But I've really loved her leadership. You know, she's my obviously vice captain, but she's grown so much. We were in the pre-match meeting earlier today, and I just said if you were me now, what would you say? I asked the team that question. What would you say? Because I do all these talks all the time. And Toone looked like she wanted to say something. So I said, okay, go on, you go. And she just said that we are a family, and that is the difference between us and other teams, is that when it needed to get dark, we are in it together. And I think not only does she love this club, it's her club, but the growth she's made as a leader is probably why you're seeing leadership traits still on the field, and she's only getting better.
You talk about defending deep and going to that dark, side of it, and it just felt like even the 7 added minutes, there was no sort of big push from City. You controlled the game so well. I mean, that must have been one of the most pleasing parts. That you go 2-0 up early, you could lose that, but you just look completely in control.
Yeah, I think there was the moments in the game at the Etihad, wasn't there, where we kind of had that moment where we let them back into it, but there was none of that today. It was pure control. I felt that the defensive line was fantastic. Millie Turner, epic. Maya, epic. The fullbacks when we swapped them, I think Gabby got in a couple of challenges late, but then the defensive cover in front of Terry today. I know we're going to talk about her goals, but the work she does for the team is the reason you keep clean sheets. And that shows you a real special spirit, because she's hurting and she's still running. And I wanted to take her off, but we didn't have enough subs. But she still ran through and gave everything for the team. That's us. We might not be the most glamorous picture on the wall, but we're the one that you notice the most. Thank you, mate.
Hey, Marc.
Hiya.
Obviously, Chelsea next. How much does your kind of experience of winning last year kind of give you that confidence to go there and do it against quite a formidable Chelsea team?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I got asked, I think one of the questions I've been asked already is, who's favourite? And I said, I don't care. I don't care. For me, it's West Ham. We've got West Ham next. It's fantastic to get to the final against Chelsea, and hopefully we've shown our learning progress as a team. Still a young team, but we're still growing. And the reality is the final's different. So I want to see us attack it. I want to see us be aggressive in it. And I believe if we do that with our special spirit, we can beat anyone. So they're there to fear if you want to fear them. Of course they are. They have great talent. Obviously, Sonia's great manager. But I don't think there's anyone in my team that wants to fear anyone. So we'll give it our very best with the fan base that we have as well. It'll make it loud. So those coupled, hopefully we show our learnings and we can change the result this time.
And just on Celin and Grace Clinton, I was just wondering if you could quantify the kind of impact that they've made on your squad this season, because obviously they were in that team last season that helped Spurs get to that final. So how kind of big is it for you to have them like in your side?
Yeah, they're huge. I think it's a great bit of recruitment in terms of we identified Grace early. That was like 3 seasons ago or something, where she was at Everton, and I knew that her platform should be a Manchester United, and it should be that we put her on that kind of trajectory. It's taken a little bit of time. That's why we had the loans. Before she came off, I thought she was the best player on the park. I really did. Her dueling, her in and out of possession, her ability to change the game with a dribble is something that's we've not maybe had as much of. Toone is obviously one of those players that does it, and Celin on the other side, she's kept JC out, and that's why it's inevitably JC's had to go out on loan, because Celin's come in and been a breath of fresh air in both the offensive and defensive phases. And look, I know sometimes people talk about but we're the best pressing team in the country. I've no doubt about that, and that's through their work rate and commitment. So that's the detail they've added to us. Thank you.
Sandra? Congrats, Marc.
Thank you.
I just wanted to ask about just your thoughts on how the team managed the game, because I know you say they could have scored more goals, but they seem to be containing City.
Yes.
And do you think some of that is also because they're looking ahead to like you say, it's quite a tough end for the season for Man United with the final, but then also the games you've got City again. So just what are your thoughts on that, and just in terms of how your team are containing in terms of City with this, but then also looking ahead to those games towards the end of the season?
Yeah, I think maybe they are, but they're looking forward with excitement, Sandra, not fear. And I think that's really important. We're playing really good teams, and that's where our team want to be in terms of that consistent performance levels. I don't think there was containment today. What happened was there was an element of that, in performance, of course, but we opened up transition far too much. So if you attack all the time, it only leaves City to play one long, and you're opening up that transition. So I think there's just a little bit of awareness of that. And I think the more we were condensing the lines, the more we had control. So there's elements of that within the game. But the reality is, this tough end to the season, including West Ham, by the way, because they've been fantastic, is a great challenge for us. And the whole squad should be excited now, because they have not only Wembley to aim for at the end to play in and get a run-up, but also we've got Champions League and potentially League if the miracle happens that Chelsea drop the points, which they've not done yet. So we just got to be in there. And I'm very clear on this, that it is game by game. We'll take all our energy into West Ham and look forward to the challenge of that.
And obviously with Phallon Tullis-Joyce celebrating the saves, she didn't get courtoised basically with the top corner, did she? So from Yui Hasegawa, but how important is it to have that in that team, and also just the team celebrating those, keeping that clean sheet, keeping saves in that manner?
I think more importantly, I've just heard that I didn't see Fallon's reaction to it, but she just said, that's just my job. And that humility is exactly why it keeps her as, I think, one of the world's best, and trajectory to be the world's best goalkeeper. Because she's humble, she's hardworking, she does something every day. But those 2 saves are incredible. I've not even seen them back, but I know they're incredible. I know the feeling of them, they're incredible. And I love that about my team. I love the fact that they're humble, and I love the fact that they work, and they're very, they work for our fans, and it's incredible. For me, that gives me a real buzz, because it's not just about the results. They're part of the process, but knowing that we're building a spirit at a team that makes a difference, that's a huge trophy for me mentally and my team. Thank you, Sandra. Hello, mate. What did he say? What did he say, though? Yeah, maybe. Well, we all know Roy and how blunt he is at his conversation. But I mean, if she had Roy Keane's attitude and commitment to the game, then she's going to go a long way, because obviously he was fantastic. So I think, for more importantly, it's just her nature, mate. Like, she doesn't, nothing's too big. She's quite grounded. It's a really great trait in a human, let alone a goalkeeper. And I mean, that is, I'm sure I will celebrate that moment as much as the Celin goal. I haven't really seen the Grace because it was quite narrow in there, but yeah, I think those are key moments, key characteristics of a team that I want to be in control of.
We just heard Nick Cushing say that your team competed better than his, and regardless of kind of maybe outside noise that they've had to kind of deal with this season at the start and throughout, that they've come together as a team and that you can see that on the pitch. That must be something that makes you quite proud.
Very proud, very proud. When you get kind of the accolades and acknowledgement from people like Nick, who I have a lot of respect for, and again, Nick said that he can see it's my team, and he can see it's a type of spirit that one of my teams would have. So that is a lot of hard work. Some of the stuff you don't see. But I want to be clear on this. I don't ever feel I'm not trying to prove anyone wrong. I'm just trying to work. I don't care what people say about me. I will just work, and until the day comes where I don't work anymore. I think it's just humility that I want in my teams. I think you see that, and that's a good sign of a good coach, hopefully, because it means you run through the core of your team, and that's our values. So, yeah, I mean, noise is noise, but it can also be good, right? Yeah.
Like, you can't control what's given to you or budgets and things like that, but you can control what you do on the pitch in terms of getting into finals and getting into Champions League, and that maybe that comes with the success potentially.
Yeah, for sure, and I think it will. I believe that. I genuinely believe. I know people question that. That's their prerogative. That's their trying to start fires that are not actually fires. But for me, I believe. Like, I think Omar was here today. Colette was here today. They're fully behind what we're doing. We just got to. Catherine, we've got to grow it in a sustainable way. We're not going to do what other teams have done, which is just throw lumps of cash out, even though I'd love that, because it makes your job a little bit easier. And that's a challenge that I've accepted. I've signed a new contract because that's a challenge I've accepted. And if we can do that, then we'll create something historical rather than just being a part where, and it's great for other coaches. I'm not dismissive of that model. That's their model. I just need that we're doing it our way. And, I look at that and I go, if we work hard enough and we get our Champions League, accessibility for next season, then, we need to recruit properly, because, you saw City who are diminished today from the injuries, and it can affect the way that you perform. So there's also a lot we've got to learn from that, and hopefully we do, and we push forward next season again. Thank you, mate. Hello, mate.
Hi. Roughly about a year ago, which is kind of like just to reflect back, like, y'all lost 3-1 to Manchester City.
Yeah.
And just the realities of these two teams were totally different. And you were just talking about how the spirit has been built. Do you think the past year has been really important in terms of building up that spirit? And how have you seen it actually been built behind the scenes? Because, we're not really there.
Through pain. It builds through pain. It builds. You don't remember success. I remember the last time that you were successful at writing an article. Nobody lets you celebrate that, right? They don't go, that's a great article. You can live in it for a second because you know it's good work, but then nobody else is going, that's a great article. They don't care. They want to move on to the negative. They want to move on to the news story. Well, actually, the celebration for us is the fact that we're building through the hurt and the hardship, and everyone tell us you can't do it. And I asked the girls, in this block of games, the phrase that I want to use is, don't ask for permission. Don't ask the opponent for permission to beat them. Just go and beat them. And when everyone doubts you, you can tell them how you did it. And that's not the world against us. That's not poor old us. I'm actually we live in a world where it's constantly negative. It's constantly reinforced by negative. And I don't want to live in that world. I want to make sure that we celebrate the moments, but we then reinforce, get armoured from it, and push forward. So I think it's the hurt that drives you forward. Even winning the title last year, the FA Cup, we dipped in the league. and we've got to learn from that, because we have to reflect and move forwards. And I think the team have done that fantastically well. But we've won nothing. We have got 4 really great teams to play, and then a final. And that is business. I don't want no after the Lord Mayor's show against West Ham, because they are deadly and they can hurt you. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Anyone else, team?
Happy?
And you all write great articles, by the way. I'm hoping that you do another one today.
When you said that, but we do it every week.
Yeah, exactly. It's just I don't read them.
Wow.
Oh, no, that's bad. But you know I don't, because you always go, wow, that Marc Skinner, he's done this, he's done that. But he's okay. They did okay today. They won 4-0. No shots against. I think we played against Everton, and we won the game. And Everton didn't. We cut Everton's throat at 17 minutes. They didn't have a shot on target after that, and it was Man United scraped through against. And they didn't have a shot after 17 minutes. Like, if that's cutting through, I mean, that is ruthless, right? But anyway.
That's not an official line.
I know, I'm sorry. I've got to keep doing it, because if it drops, you know they're going to come for me anyway, right? The wolves are on my back all the time. Great to see you, team. Look after yourself. Go safe. See you later.